really want to point out the obvious, but what got you here is not going to get you there. What the fuck do I mean by that? What got you to whatever you're building today is not what's going to get you to where you want to be. So let's just say, and I always talk about this, but if you're a $500,000 a year biller and you want to become $1 million biller, whatever got you to $500,000 in a year is not going to get you to $1 million. If you do more of the same, you just will not get to $1 million. Or if you're a $200,000 biller and you want to get to $500,000 bills, what got you to 200 won't get you to 500. It is as simple as that. Now, I was watching, I think half the bloody world is falling in love with Wrexham Football Club, but the show, Welcome to Wrexham, Apple TV, Ryan Reynolds, I'm up to speed. I'm not going to, no spoilers here, but what is becoming glaringly obvious, and it's hard to watch, is that team is rapidly going up the ranks. They were in such a bottom league, right? And then they won and they went up a league, then they won, they went up a league, and now they're looking to win again, okay? And the team that they've had from the beginning has had to evolve. They've had to bring in new players, spend more money on better strikers, better goalies, that sort of stuff. And as you go up, the competition gets harder and you have to spend more money on players and get better players in and yada, yada, yada. And this is a great example of what got us here, won't get us there. They have a fan fave in Paul Mullins. He's a striker. He scored so many bloody goals for Wrexham. He is the reason why they are where they are today. He is literally the reason. But the unfortunate reality is they're at a level now where he's not useful to them anymore. He can't score goals at this level. It's just so hard. It's just so much harder. So they need to bring in new strikers, new talent, faster, sharper, better kickers, and they're scoring goals again. And it's a great example of what got us here won't get us there, okay? And so it's very applicable to recruitment, very applicable to your desk. And it's a great analogy for us to kind of like draw parallels from. So the challenge we have as recruiters is, well, what got us here won't get us there, but what do we need to do to get us there, right? And that is the $1 million question, literally. The $1 million, what do I need to change? What do I need to shift? You've all heard the concept of 1%ers. Oh, do the 1%ers right. Do the 1%ers. And I genuinely think what got you to where you are today isn't about 1%ers. It's actually not about the 1%ers. It's actually about doing the simple stuff well. That's not a 1%er. That's like a 10%er or a 20%er. The great analogy there is the gym, right? You've got saunas and you've got ice baths and you've got vitamins. You've got all this stuff for your health, okay? They're all 1%ers. Like, a trainer once said to me, just get to the gym. If you're not at the gym, there's no point in doing saunas. There's no point in doing floats or acupuncture, all that stuff, because, if you're trying to get your body fit and healthy, the number one thing you should be doing is moving and exercising and going to actually just showing up, okay? So that's kind of like the whole, if you're not doing the fundamentals right, if you're just not doing the basics right, don't even try and do the 1%ers. But if you are doing the fundamentals, if you are going to the gym, if you are exercising, then all of a sudden those 1%ers do start to make a lot more sense. And it's exactly the same for recruitment, okay? What got you to where you are today is doing the fundamentals right. Just making deals, running a good process, getting along with clients, getting along with candidates, like just really simple stuff, the basic stuff. So to get to that next level, you can't just do more of the same because you're capping out. You're hitting some sort of a ceiling in capacity, in turnaround, in whatever it might be, right? So we need to start now looking at those 1%ers. I think it is as simple as that. Now, today's not going to be a whole episode around what are those 1%ers, because this whole series of podcasts is about those 1%ers, okay? But I think if I were to give you one to look at seriously and really, really, really hone in on, if you really want to get from where you are today to those higher levels, I wouldn't even call this a 1%er. It's lots and lots and lots of 1%ers, but it's probably wrapped up in it's like 20% of you getting there. And I've talked about it to ad nauseum, but it's time management. Time management. You are wasting time in between tasks. So like you get off a call, you get up and you get a coffee. Is that a waste of time? Could you have a coffee pre-ordered at your desk so that when you're off that call, you're right there onto the next task? It sounds small, but that is a huge, that adds up over time. the time you waste between tasks, take note. Just be conscious of it. Take note of the time you're wasting between the actual tasks you're doing. And then now let's look at the time wasting within those tasks. If you've got a meeting with a boss and you've booked an hour out for it, ask, can we make this half an hour? If you have a meeting with a client and it's an hour, say, hey, can we make this 20 minutes? If you have, a task to do an ad or something and you've allocated an hour, which is what you normally do because you need this to just go, like, how can you get that down? So this is just like looking for efficiencies within the task, looking for efficiencies between the tasks. Okay, and just squishing it down. This is how you're going to get more, because for you to go from where you are now to where you want to go, you need to increase your billings. And how do we increase our billings? We either double our fees or change our rates. That's unlikely. Maybe you can go for a high level candidate. That's likely. You could push your candidates up, because where you play is usually where you get more briefs. So if you're in that senior middle level bracket and you're getting 15K fees, you get a lot of things. Why do I always get these roles? Because that's where you're playing. Push up to those high-level roles, and all of a sudden you get more high-level roles because you're talking to high-level candidates. Those candidates send to the clients. Those clients then come back around and go, hey, actually, I need someone at this level. Like, play up higher. Always be pushing up the level that you're recruiting, or you can do more deals. So there's a combination there that is like just some quick, real fucking wins for what got you here, what will get you there. Look at your fee size. How can you push them up? Look at your time efficiencies in between tasks and on the task, because that will compress your week in terms of what your deliverables look like and create more space to do more deals. But that takes nous. That takes awareness. That takes experience to be able to do that. Because when you're new at recruitment, you kind of just get told what to do. You kind of passively catch and pass, and you're very much a passenger, or you're very much receiving what's coming at you and just dealing with it. When you get to those high levels, you notice it flip, and those bigger billers are way more in control of their time, way more in control of their desk, and very protective of their time. And that's the other thing you want to start looking at, is how protective of your time are you? How often do you say yes to things and wish you said no? How often do you go, that just doesn't work for me? Are you just a pleaser? Yes, I want to say yes. I have to say yes to seeing this person. Oh, yeah. Like, start saying no a lot more and feel good about it, okay? But there's so much we can go on. What got us here won't get us there. Poor Paul Mullins, he got Wrexham right up the ranks. He ain't getting any field time anymore because it's just not going to get them to where they want to get to in high levels within these other leagues. And the exact same thing is in recruitment. Wherever you are today and you want to get somewhere else, and you've been doing this for a few years at least, you need to do some different things. Whatever got you there, lock it in. But now, how do you make that? How do you shift that so that you're going, to the next levels? It's going to take a whole nother set of gears. And that's a whole nother conversation. So like, share, subscribe, helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day, and may all your deals come true.